Hello guys, let's start the year with a new video. For the second time on this channel, we will be building together this brand new kit from Italeri of an Italian fighter jet that was retired only a few months ago. It's the AMX Ghibli, an aircraft developed in the 1980s through a collaboration between Italy and Brazil, designed as a light ground attack aircraft or close air support fighter. This time, after building a special color version, we will assemble the standard version used by the 51st Wing. We start by assembling and painting everything that will later be enclosed within the fuselage hulls. Normally, I don't like to install the landing gear legs before the painting phase, but due to the way this kit was designed, it's necessary to do so. Otherwise, assembly would be difficult later on. Certainly not an ideal choice, but I have to say this kit really surprised me with its accuracy, level of detail, fit and plastic quality. Definitely a significant step forward compared to older Italeri kits, which often make us say more than a few bad words. This is the result compared with the real photo of the AMX cockpit. Using oil paints, I wanted to replicate the burn marks on the exhaust nozzles as seen in this reference photo. With all the sub-assemblies painted and assembled, it's now time to place them inside the fuselage and close out the cockpit. is really very good, and there are no specific warning except for their need to install the landing gear before closing the fuselage. Let's allow our model to dry and keep everything in place. There is always a bit of sanding work to do to remove those ugly seam lines that ruin the smooth shape of the model. So let's grab our sanding stick and get to work. Obviously, some panel lines and rivets will need to be rescribed using the appropriate tools. As I continue assembling the wings, stabilizers and other details, I remind you to subscribe to my channel and leave a like or a comment if you want to support me. It really means a lot to me to know that you appreciate what I do. This will give me the motivation to keep improving everything I love to do. These masks are the only ones I found when I purchased this kit, and it was my first time buying from this brand. I was really positively impressed. The black you see on the model is just the primer I sprayed on the seams to check that the sanding work was done properly. As you can see, the nose area needed further touch-ups, but now the seam lines have been eliminated. because since most kits have grey plastics, it allows me to make sure the entire model is covered with primer. At the same time, it gives me better control over the pre-shading, as I have a larger surface area to paint rather than just the straight lines I would otherwise need to darken. I paint the model by applying several very thin coats to avoid covering the pre-shading too much. This will ensure a variation in tones on the aircraft grey, which will make it look quite intriguing. The result of the painting work after also painting the black details. I am very satisfied with how it turned out. It's not easy on a predominantly monochrome model to avoid a flat appearance. A glossy clear coat is now necessary to protect the paintwork and ensure that the decals adhere well on the model. It won't be very heavy, as Italian aircraft are usually quite clean, and I prefer to make my models as realistic as possible. This far in the video, please comment with the word Ghibli to give me some feedback. The oil paints are worked and blended using a brush slightly damped with enamel thinner. This allows me to remove the excess and at the same time arrange the color in the desired way. surface of the landing gear to create small chips, showing signs of wear and tear. Install the armament, and after applying a slightly matte clear coat, I remove the canopy masks and leave you with the final image. Thanks again for stopping by. I hope to see you in the next video. I'll say goodbye with a typical greeting from my land. Mandy!